In the shadows of the Middle East, two nations have been at war for 45 years, but they've never fired a shot at each other directly. From the deserts of Yemen to the streets of Beirut, from the mountains of Kurdistan to the waters of the Persian Gulf, America and Iran have turned entire nations. This is the story of the forever war you've never seen. The proxy war that has killed hundreds of thousands, displaced millions, and brought the world to the brink of 1979, Tehran. For 26 years, Iran had been America's closest ally in the Middle East. The Shah, installed by a CIA coup in 1953, was Washington's man. Then, in 52 days, everything changed. 52 American diplomats held hostage for 444 days. The Ayatollah Khomeini declared America the Great Satan. The United States froze Iranian assets, imposed crushing sanctions, and began arming. But here's what most people don't know. This wasn't just about revolution. It was about power. Iran sits on the world's fourth largest proven oil reserves and controls the Strait of Hormuz, the gateway through which 1/5 of global oil passes every single day. Lose Iran, lose the Middle East. That was the calculation. And so began the longest Cold War in modern history, fought not in Tehran or Washington, but
Why don't they just fight each other directly? The answer is terrifying in its simplicity: nuclear weapons, global economics, and plausible deniability. Direct war between America and Iran would trigger Article 5 of NATO, potentially involve Russia and China, crash the global economy, and risk nuclear escalation. The cost? So instead, they perfected something far more insidious: proxy warfare. You fund, arm, and train militias and insurgent groups. They fight your enemy. You deny involvement. Everyone maintains. Iran's strategy is called the axis of resistance. Through Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, Shia militias in Iraq, and support for Assad in Syria, Tehran built a network stretching from Afghanistan to the Mediterranean. America's response? Support Sunni governments, arm Kurdish forces, fund Syrian rebels, back Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen, and maintain the largest military presence in the region since World War II. The result? 7 active conflict zones, over 1 million dead, 25 million displaced, and both sides claim their home. Iran's most powerful proxy and the world's most heavily armed founded in 1985 with Iranian Revolutionary Guard training and funding, Hezbollah it's a state within a state. Hospitals, schools, social services, and an arsenal that rivals some. U.S. intelligence estimates Hezbollah possesses over 150,000 rockets and missiles, more firepower than 95% of the world's Some can reach anywhere. Israel. In 2006, during the Israel-Hezbollah war, this Iranian proxy fought the Israeli Defense Forces, one of the world's most advanced militaries. For 34 days, Hezbollah rained rockets on Israeli cities, while Israeli jets leveled Beirut. The war ended in stalemate, but the message was clear. Iran had successfully built a deterrent on Israel's northern border, a loaded gun funded by Tehran, aimed at America's closest Middle Eastern ally. And America? Billions in aid to the Lebanese army, hoping to counter Hezbollah's influence. But everyone knows, in southern Lebanon, Hezbollah, Yemen. The United Nations calls it the world's worst humanitarian crisis. 20 million people on the brink of famine, 400,000 dead. But this isn't a civil war. It's a 2014. The Houthis, a Shia militia backed by Iran, seized Yemen's capital, Sana'a. Saudi Arabia, supported by the United States, launched a military intervention. 9 years later, the war continued. Iran provides the Houthis with drones and missiles. In return, the Houthis attack Saudi oil facilities and launch missiles at Riyadh, effectively giving Iran the ability to strike America's key Gulf ally without leaving. September 2019. A coordinated drone attack struck Saudi Arabia's Abqaiq oil processing facility, the largest petroleum processing plant on Earth. Half of Saudi oil production went offline in minutes. Oil prices spiked globally. The Houthis claimed responsibility. U.S. intelligence said Iran. America's role? Over 50,000 precision-guided bombs sold to Saudi Arabia, mid-air refueling for Saudi jets, intelligence sharing, training. The U.S. wasn't officially at war in Yemen, but American weapons were killing Yemeni civilians every day. This is proxy war at its most brutal. Iran arms the Houthis, America arms the Saudis, and Yemeni children starve.
Iraq, where America spent $2 trillion, lost 4,500 soldiers, and ultimately handed Iran its greatest strategic victory. The irony is devastating. When America toppled Saddam Hussein in 2003, it removed Iran's greatest regional rival. The Shia majority, suppressed for decades, rose to power with Tehran's backing. Today, Iraqi politics is dominated by Iranian-backed Shia militias, collectively known as the Popular Mobilization Forces, over 100,000 fighters, loyal not to Baghdad, but to Tehran. December 2019, an Iranian-backed militia killed an American contractor in northern Iraq. The U.S. responded with airstrikes. Days later, militia supporters stormed the U.S. embassy in Baghdad. President Trump ordered a drone strike. The target, Qasem Soleimani, commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, architect of Iran's proxy network, second most powerful man in Iran. He was killed at Baghdad airport on January 3, 2020. Iran retaliated by launching ballistic missiles at U.S. bases in Iraq. 100 American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries. The world held its breath, waiting for full-scale war. It never came. Instead, both sides stepped back from the brink and returned to their proxy war. Because direct confrontation remains too dangerous. The shadow war?
Syria, where the proxy war became a world war by proxy. When civil war erupted in 2011, it became a feeding frenzy. Iran and Russia backed Assad. America, Turkey, and Gulf states backed various rebel groups. ISIS emerged from the chaos. The Kurds fought everyone. Israel struck Iranian targets. At one point, there were 16 separate armed factions fighting in Syria, many backed by different external powers, some accidentally fighting their sponsors' other allies. For Iran, Syria is the land bridge connecting Tehran to Hezbollah in Lebanon, the so-called Shia Crescent. Iranian Revolutionary Guards and Shia militias from Iraq, Afghanistan, and Pakistan flooded into Syria to save Assad. For America, Syria was about preventing Iranian dominance and defeating ISIS. U.S. Special Forces partnered with Kurdish militias, establishing a zone of control in eastern Syria, sitting directly on top of oil fields. The result? Over 500,000 dead, 13 million displaced, half of Syria's pre-war population. Cities reduced to rubble, and Assad, backed by Iran and Russia, still in power. But here's what keeps Pentagon planners awake at night. Iranian forces are now permanently based in Syria, 40 miles from the Israeli border. In September 2018, Russian and Israeli jets engaged in the same airspace. American, Russian, and Iranian forces operate within miles of each other. One miscalculation, one trigger-happy pilot, one misidentified target.
21 miles wide at its narrowest point, the Strait of Hormuz. If Iran closes this waterway, 30% of the world's seaborne oil trade stops. Gas prices would spike globally. The global economy would enter immediate crisis. Iran knows this, which is why it repeatedly threatens to close the strait whenever tensions escalate. 2019, the proxy war came here. Over 4 months, 6 oil tankers were mysteriously attacked. The US blamed Iran. Iran denied involvement. Then Iranian forces seized a British tanker in international waters. America responded by assembling a naval coalition, Operation Sentinel. Dozens of warships now patrol these waters 24/7. Iranian speedboats harass them regularly. In January 2021, an Iranian patrol boat came within 150 yards of a US Coast Guard cutter, the nautical equivalent of a game of chicken at 30 knots. Every day, American and Iranian forces circle each other in these waters, armed, watching, waiting. One accident, one aggressive maneuver, one misunderstood signal could trigger a naval battle in the world's most important oil.
Behind every proxy war statistic is a human being, A Syrian father who watched his home become a battlefield between Iranian militias and US-backed rebels. A Yemeni mother who lost 3 children to a Saudi airstrike carried out with American weapons. An Iraqi interpreter who worked with US forces, now hunted by Iranian-backed militias, denied an American visa. A Lebanese teenager who's never known anything but Hezbollah's control, growing up with rockets hidden beneath their school. Over 30 million people live in active proxy war zones right now. They didn't choose this. They're not combatants. They're civilians, caught between 2 powers who won't speak to each other, but won't stop fighting. The World Bank estimates the economic damage from these proxy wars exceeds $1 trillion. Entire generations have known nothing but war. Infrastructure that took decades to build, destroyed in weeks. Ancient cities, Aleppo, Mosul, Sana'a, reduced to ruins. And the cruelest irony? Neither America nor Iran has achieved their strategic objectives. Iran hasn't broken US sanctions or containment. America hasn't rolled back Iranian influence or changed Iran's regime. The only guaranteed outcome.
Beneath all of this lies the nightmare scenario, Iran's nuclear program. In 2015, Iran agreed to limit its nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. In 2018, President Trump withdrew America from the deal. Iran responded by enriching uranium to near weapons-grade levels. As of January 2025, Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than ever before. Western intelligence agencies estimate the breakout time, how long it would take Iran to produce enough weapons-grade uranium for 1 bomb, at just weeks. If Iran gets the bomb, Saudi Arabia has pledged to get one too, then Turkey, then Egypt. The entire Middle East becomes a nuclear powder keg, with American and Iranian proxies operating throughout the region. Israel has made clear it will not allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. The question isn't if they'll strike, it's when. And when they do, Iran's response will likely target American assets throughout the region. Every proxy conflict we've discussed, Lebanon, Yemen, Iraq, Syria, the Strait, they all become potential flashpoints for nuclear-armed escalation. We are closer to a direct America-Iran war than at any point since 1979. The proxies aren't preventing war, they're dressing.
45 years, 17 US presidents and 5 Iranian supreme leaders, trillions of dollars spent, millions of lives destroyed. And America and Iran still haven't spoken directly in decades. This is the paradox of proxy wars. They're designed to avoid direct confrontation, but they guarantee endless indirect confrontation. Every battle fought by a proxy is a pressure valve that releases just enough tension to prevent direct war, while ensuring the cycle of violence never ends. Both are probably right. Both are definitely wrong. Because this isn't a strategy, it's a stalemate masquerading as policy. The question isn't whether America and Iran will continue their proxy war. They will. The question is, how many more Yemenis, Syrians, Iraqis, Lebanese, and Iranians will die before someone decides to stop playing the game? Because here's what they don't tell you about proxy wars. They only end when someone decides peace is more valuable than victory. So far, neither side has reached that.